hospitality of Gauteng. It is an opportunity that you should not miss the nightlife of Gauteng. If you missed it, you might as well speak to your seniors to get another night so that you can enjoy it. I certainly hope you did not engage in fruitless and wasteful expenditure to come to the province only to be in your bed in the hotel room. You ought to be experiencing what the province has to offer. I still remain Brian Pique and the Secretary General of the South African Public Colleges Organization and still the principal at Northland College, not to leave the college soon. And welcome to this session, which is a continuation of our conference. We adjourned yesterday to resume today. I hope that our delegates online have joined us already, because we need to run with the program. Are they online? Thank you very much. Just a few household matters. The receivers, these things that they use for DJs, are meant for the session when there is a speaker that speaks a language that you might not understand. We understand the problem that you might have had. We are searching for 7 receivers. It is possible that you just collected your stuff and put it in the bag. It's a possibility. And only realize when you get to the room, I've taken this. You are not stealing. It's a human error. We accept it because all of us are doing such. We request those who might have taken the receivers by mistake to please just declare them at the back so that the numbers can tally again when they do their calculations. I am also reliably informed that they are extremely expensive and the costs will be borne by Ekurhuleni West. And I don't think we want to do that. We do not want to leave the college with a debt. So please, if you have taken it by mistake, just return it, because on the tables there were receivers put. So you will now have 2 instead of 1. So you just return the one that is extra. Thank you very much, colleagues. I hope that we are going to oblige and assist each other in that process. So yesterday when we left, we were going to be led by the chairperson of the Western Cape and principal of the West Coast College, Mr. Mulawa, on sectoral priority number 4. We are now going to give to him to bring his speakers to the fore, and those who are online to also join him. Can we give him a round of applause as he is coming?
Good morning. Dumelan, Sanibonani, Molweni. My name as I am being introduced by SG, it's Lungisa Mulawa, Principal of West Coast College. I just want to acknowledge the presence of DDG for Tvet, Mr. Zungu. Acknowledge the presence of SAPCO President, Professor Putsitsi, office bearers, and then the entire NEC. I also want to acknowledge the delegates from Brics member countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. I also want to acknowledge our strategic partners. I also want to acknowledge and greet my panelists that will be joining me in a moment. All protocol observe. Happy Mandela Month. And then I urge all of you to go out there and do good. Colleagues, we are tasked then with priority number 4. We have listened yesterday to the different speakers. You can see the trend in all the 4 priorities. And then today is the last one. And then I also want to acknowledge those who are joining us virtually. I will just give a brief overview of our priority number 4. It reads as follows: how can purposefully partnerships for workplace-based learning amidst employer reluctance and challenges be forged? So I will do the brief introduction. I'm not sure whether are you able to flight my presentation. If not, then I am very mindful of time. I will just speak on it. It seems our IT is not ready yet. Just on introduction, we are saying workplace-based learning is an essential component of vocational education and training, providing students with the practical skills as well as industry experience. However, forging purposeful partnership for work-based learning can be challenging, especially when employers are reluctant to participate. So in this session, we'll explore strategies to overcome employer reluctance, as well as challenges to establish further partnerships. What is it in for the employers? Employers need to understand the benefit of workplace learning. We need to clearly communicate the advantages, such as access to skills talent pool and the reduced recruitment cost. It's quite a challenge to recruit. So if then students are taken through the workplace-based learning, it actually saves the employer time, costs, as well as other hidden costs. We also have to emphasize the positive impact on productivity, employee retention, and then the opportunity to shape future employees. We also have to highlight the long-term benefit of investing in work-based learning such as well-preparing workforce and increased competitiveness. Understand the employer concern, conduct survey, and engage in dialogue to understand employers' specific concern and barriers to participation. We also have to come up with tailor-made programs to meet employer needs, such as flexible scheduling, tailored training plans, and then clear communication channels when there are challenges. We also have to address the potential liabilities and then insurance issues through clear agreement and risk-sharing mechanisms. Obviously, to attract the employers, they would need certain incentives. One of those then would be to offer financial incentives or tax credits to encourage employer engagement in a workplace-based learning. We must also recognize and celebrate employers' contribution to awards and a public recognition. So it's important then that we must invite them whenever we've got events in our institution or organization so that we can publicly acknowledge their role. Streamline administrative process to reduce the burden on employers and then ensure a smooth and a meaningful partnership. Obviously, getting an additional person in your company or organization, it brings added cost and then administrative cost. Therefore, as Tvet sector or colleges or organization, we have to really assist the employers when it comes to this regard. So we really have to streamline and then make it much easier for the employers. Establish strong relationships with employers through networking events, industry advisory board, and then regular communication channels. Engage employers in the design of the workplace-based learning programs to ensure the relevance and then align them with the industry needs. This needs to be done regularly. Foster open dialogue and collaboration to build trust and then address employers' concern. So obviously, there needs to be scheduled meetings, feedback sessions, so that we are able to address all the concern. In conclusion, we are saying regular communication with employers. So I've referred this in a form of a meeting, surveys, as well. You can speak face-to-face with them. Involve the employers in designing of workplace-based learning program. I think this is quite critical because at the end of the day, you might have things that are not relevant, but you still pursue them. But if you engage in an ongoing dialogue, you are then able then to assist the employers. Thank you. Now I shall invite, you must not be afraid to clap. You can do better than that. I know you can do better than that, South Africans. Now I shall invite my panelists to come and join me here. I'm going to invite the South African representative, Ms. Mosesi, Deputy Principal Academics, Tvet College, The Brazilian representative, I do not have the name, but if they can just be ready online. The Russian representative, Natalia Okansanova, Chief Specialist International Cooperation Officer. The Indian representative, if we can also be ready, I do not have a name. The Chinese representative, Ms. Shuku, Secretary of Party Committee, Ninja Vocational Institute of Railway and Technology. So she indicated then that she will be joining virtually. So I hope the others, they are going to also going to join virtually. So they are going to unpack the topic. They've only got 5 minutes, so they must just keep it nice and short. Thank you very much, ma'am. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning.
All protocols observed. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to be given this opportunity to talk in the seminar. My name is Jackie Musesi. I am the Deputy Principal Academic at Tvet College. And I will be sharing with you very practical and to the point experiences on how can purposeful partnerships for workplace-based learning amidst employer reluctance and challenges be forged. In 2022, July 27 and 28th, our Minister of Education, Science and Innovation hosted the inaugural Tvet College Strategic Industry Partnerships Summit in the Cape, and the purpose was to establish and strengthen partnerships between Tvet colleges and private sector to increase the numbers of apprenticeships, internships, workplace-based experience, and opportunities for work-integrated learning within the Tvet sector. I must say that the minister was very intentional on this type of gathering, that the summit that he hosted. As we went out of that summit with tasks that we were supposed to perform as colleges and commitments that principals were supposed to make. And I must also mention that in the same summit, my institution received a gold award nationally for the college with the highest number of local and international partnerships. Forging partnerships for placing students at workplaces can be challenging when employers are reluctant. When they are reluctant to participate, however, here are some strategies you can consider. The strategies that I'm sharing today are straight to the point. I did not go on to researching what could be done. I am sharing the 7 strategies that I am currently making use of at my institution. And the first strategy would be communicate the benefits. Communicating the benefits to the employer, or rather, communicating the benefits to the reluctant employer. And there's supposed to be a clear articulation of the benefits that the employers can gain from participating in the partnership. We should also highlight how it can contribute to their recruitment efforts, how it will provide access to motivated and skilled talent, and to support their corporate social responsibility goals. My second strategy is to have a very personalized approach as we are talking to reluctant employers. We need to be tailoring the approach to each employer's needs and interests, and demonstrate an understanding of their industry and showcase how the partnership can align with their objectives. It is not to be treated as a formula that will suit every employer. Therefore, tailor-making the partnership agreement assists a lot, bearing in mind that companies are profit-driven. Strategy number 3 is to build trust. Establish trust by showcasing your organization's track record, credibility, and commitment to providing quality student placement. As I've said in the last slide, companies are profit-driven, therefore, they would not have time for unstructured programs. Second, there is to provide references or success stories from previous partnerships. Indicate that you know what you are doing and you've been working with other partners, and this is the results that were yielded from your previous engagements, and assure employers of the support and value they can expect. For example, a track record that can be shared, it is a simple annual report of the college where you wish to prove your credibility as an institution. It is a document that can be relied on due to the fact that it's been signed by the chairperson of the college council. The principal's signature is on that. It has been submitted to the Department of Higher Education and Training, and it has got the financials or the financial position of the college as audited financial statements signed off by the AG. So to me, and the performance of the students is also recorded in the annual report. So I've seen that sharing the annual report, it helps a lot, because from reading the annual report, a company happened to have an overview of the entire college. Strategy number 4 is to offer incentives. Offer incentives to these companies. In what form? Consider offering incentives to encourage reluctant employers to participate. This could include financial incentives, which SETA is already doing. It sounds a bit weird to say give to a company, but there's quite a lot that we can give back to the companies. There could be training incentives. There could be tailor-made programs that are given to companies, or you could be training the staff members one way or the other, but giving back to them, it should be a two-way process. Access to networking events or professional development opportunities, or recognition for their involvement at the business breakfast or similar events. That is strategy number 4. Strategy number 5 is the networking and relationship building. Attend industry events, forums, and networking opportunities where you can engage with employers directly. This is the forming of a relationship with them, getting to know them better, and not just for them taking the students in with a mind that they are reluctant. And then on this one, foster relationships by demonstrating genuine interest and understanding of their challenges and specific needs. It still goes back to the tailoring specific needs of each industry. Strategy number 6, which is the last but one, start small. Very important, start small. If you haven't got meaningful partnerships as yet, start small and demonstrate success. Begin by partnering with a few willing employers and focus on delivering exceptional results. Showcase the positive outcomes and impact of these partnerships to gain the trust and interest of other employers. I've realized that starting small and having meaningful partnerships makes a whole lot of sense. The last strategy is on flexibility and customization. Be willing to adapt your program to meet the specific needs of employers. Employers have got the specific needs whereby they would need students at a time that the students are not available. It could be during recess, it could be in December, it could be in the weekends, where students may not be willing, but unfortunately, employers would have to be responded to accordingly in accordance with their needs. So we should be willing to adapt our programs to meet their specific needs. On the flexibility and customization, my last point there is to work with them, the employers, to understand their unique requirements, their constraints and preferences to create a mutual beneficial partnership. And lastly, remember that building partnerships takes time and effort. It's a whole lot of work. Therefore, patience, persistence, and a proactive approach are key when engaging with reluctant employers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for lending me your ears.
Ma'am, thank you very much. I'm not sure why we did not clap when she says Citibank College received gold for placement. Now, she has shared with you the strategies, but the one that I really like is the one of the, she shared about 7 or 6, but the one that I really like is the personalized approach. Companies are different. They are different in size, in terms of the product. Therefore, you cannot have the same strategy for all of them. Thank you very much, ma'am, for that. Now we are going to move to the next presenter from Brazil. I am not sure whether they are ready, IT. Brazil, are you on the line?
Hello? Yes, I'm on the line.
Yes, we can hear you. Say you can go ahead with your presentation. You've got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right. Okay, can you hear my presentation?
Yes.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see the presentation. Thank you.
All right, may I start? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, hi dear colleagues, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to collaborate with this event. The topics dealt here here are extremely important. I'm sure they will contribute to bringing clarity and showing what each one of us has done in order to improve our education. Well, in the next screen, I'm going to present myself. So, I'm Leonardo Tavares, I am from Brazil, as you know. My actual position is Director of Innovation Hub at Fluminense Federal Institute since 2022. Also, I'm professor at Fluminense Federal Institute since 1994. I'm a Master in Operational Research and Proportional Intelligence, Bachelor in Production Engineer. More than 15 years actuating as entrepreneur, working with industry solutions. More than 29 years working with academy and companies. More than 10 years coordinating innovation projects. So what is WBL, workplace-based learning? How can I say, it is a term of activities that link employers and schools to provide special learning experience for students. Of course, there are some meanings for WBL, but here I could highlight some important features that show its main meaning. So this experience focused on broad skill development that apply knowledge, skills learned in classroom to the real world. Students with disabilities should have the opportunity to participate in WBL programs that meet their needs. When you talk about companies and school relationship, we can talk about benefits of work-based learning, including schools. So there are many point of views when we are talking about students, employers, schools, and community. So when we link school and the role of school or world of work, we can link work professionals and educators. In the schools, we expand program and learning facilities and community, create an environment of collaboration and cooperation. More motivation to stay school on the side of students develops relationship with the school's systems. The schools provides access to the new technology and job trends, and community provide visible results with the school system. Make contacts for future employment and mentoring, and employers helps develop more skilled and motivated employers. The schools meets the needs of diverse students. The community encourages community respect and tolerance. Builds positive work habits and better understanding of workplace expectations. And employers provide opportunity for community services. Schools makes education more relevant and engaging to students. The community sets a base for a more productive economy. In general benefits, I could say highlight some benefits generated by WBL and that can be proven based on successful cases that are being demonstrated. The subject has been treated for more than 20 years found in scientific articles and publications. In this one, I can show some other benefits. In general situation, would say that bond all space of human activity, probably the one in which the demand for more and better learning outcomes become clearest is the work environment. So, real school experience, skills development, network opportunities, increase employability, career exploration, personal growth, transition to employment. So this is those are the general benefits we can see. What are the proactive approaches to strengthen the WBL versus companies relationship? So we can say understand employee reluctance. So you need to identify the specific reasons behind employees' reluctance to participate in WBL programs. It could be concerns about productivity, cost, liability, or lack of awareness about the benefits of WBL. Addressing this concern will be crucial for forging partnership. Highlight the benefits of WBL. Benefits of WBL. Educating for employees about the potential advantages of WBL, such as access to a skilled workforce, increasing employee loyalty, reducing recruiting costs, and improving productivity. Show them success stories and case studies of companies that have benefited from WBL partnerships. Develop a clear values position. Create a compelling value position for employees by clearly outlining the mutual benefits of the partnership. Emphasize how WBL can help address their specific needs and challenges, such as fast-tracking skills development, reducing training costs, and improving employee retention. Customize programs to fit employees' requirements. Flexibility is key when designing WBL programs. Customize the programs to meet the needs and requirements of each employee. Ensure that the learning objectives align with the employee's goals. This will increase their willingness to engage in the partnership. So start small and showcase success. Begin with pilot programs and or a smaller scale partnership to demonstrate the positive outcomes of WBL. Highlight the success achieved by showcasing the skills and competence developed by WBL participants and their contributions to the workplace. Collaborate with industry associations and chambers of commerce. Get support from industry associations and chambers of commerce to promote the benefits of WBL. These organizations can leverage their influence and networks to advocate for WBL and encourage employers to participate. The last one, advocate for policy change. Collaborate with policy markers and education institutions to advocate for policies that support and incentivize employees' participation in WBL. This can include tax incentives, streamlined regulations, or recognition programs for employees engaged in successful WBL partnership. So, overall, forging proposal partnership for WBL requires achieving engagement, customized approaches, and effective communication to address employers. Reluctance and challenges by highlighting the mutual benefits and creating a supportive environment. These partnerships can be forged successfully. So there are some initiatives in Brazil. National Council of Education and National Curriculum Guidelines. So a focus in competency training, flexibility in the curriculum, focus in praxis. Startup incubators, they function as incubators for newborn companies or startups, help innovation projects or nascent companies until they are able to launch themselves in the market. With an incubator, the startup receives technical support through training, mentoring, and training. Innovations notes. Funding notices is a very efficient way for institutions to finance their projects. Currently, there are many public and private entities that contemplate the most different areas. So the last one, creation of Innovation Hub, is a partnership of government, universities, and business, promoting increased competitiveness and productivity of the national economy, promote the development of applied research and qualification of human resource for research, development and innovation actions. I invite you people to visit this website called Embrapa. Embrapa is a company in Brazil that that is not a fund, it's a government investment. So the government invests together the company. They share the risk of the project, in the project. So I invite you to visit this website and know a little bit more in Brics. Brics is a company, Brazilian company for industrial innovation. So the final message is, do not develop technology for companies, develop it with the companies. When you do not develop, when you develop technology for companies, it creates mistrust in the conduct of projects. It makes the valuation of intellectual property difficult. It makes technology and knowledge transfer difficult. So when developed with the company, it creates synergy in the conduction of projects, retain technology and knowledge, retain talents in the company. So that's my presentation. Thank you very much. I am Leonardo Tavares from Brazil. I invite you to know a little bit more than me. So follow this QR code and you'll know about my institution, Fluminense Federal Institute CONIF. Thank you very much.
Can we give him a round of applause? Thank you very much, sir. One thing that I like, I think it's also been lifted up by the South African representative, it's that start small. I think we should just adopt the Nike slogan, just do it. If you're gonna dream, you will never do it, so you must start small. We are moving along to Russia representative, Natalie Asenova, Chief Specialist International Cooperation Office. Are you ready, ma'am?
Mm-hmm. Yes, though I'm not Natalia Aksionova,
okay.
I'm on the Muravyova, because of the shift in the program, Natalia had to go to another meeting.
Okay.
But if you bear with me, I'll present on the workplace based learning.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll try to keep to the time allocated. If I don't, please don't be mad with me.
Okay.
Now,
you can go ahead, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Now, so I'll start with the overall context. And I don't think it makes sense just to stress once again how the links with enterprises are important. It's obvious. And with us, we've been involved in setting up this and enhancing interaction between Tvet and businesses within the social partnership model, starting from, I mean, in the modern interpretation of the social partnership model, beginning with the new century. And because we all understand that Tvet, without the labor market employers, that is, without the people for whom you produce your product, makes no sense. And we have accumulated some experience which we would like to share with you. Maybe you'll find it interesting. And due to the enhanced cooperation and due to different tacks that were tried to develop workplace or work-based learning and involve employers in Tvet in developing curricula, in offering job placements, etc., and practical training placements, we have actually come up with a model with a new, I would even call it with a new paradigm, which we entitled Professionaliteit, and which is really reshaping the landscape of Tvet in Russia. Both, sorry, doesn't, yeah. This has, as I've already said, been made possible by numerous efforts, by numerous trial and error attempts and success stories. But what actually gave all those efforts an institutional format was the decree, the presidential decree on setting up the National Qualifications Councils, followed by the establishment of sector qualification councils, known in other parts of the globe as sector skills councils in different occupational areas. And these councils, among other things, are entrusted with development of occupational standards that serve the basis for education, for Tvet standards, and they develop and approve qualifications for their occupational area, etc., and a lot of other things. So it's the consolidated body representing.
You're on Zoom.
Yeah.
Are you not part of the meeting?
Somebody interfered and lost my thought. So actually it's a consolidation.
Oh, no, that's a meeting at 10 o'clock. No, we can start.
Ma'am, it's probably from your side. Huh? Okay. Okay, can we just mute at the back, please? Okay. Ma'am, can you connect again? Ma'am?
Yeah, that's it, President. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
But this is quite interesting.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Sorry about that, ma'am. You can go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. It's normal. Okay, so this is each council is a consolidated representation of the interests of the sector, and this consolidated approach to sector qualifications councils happened because trust had already been built between companies, sector enterprises, and the Tvet system. So it's just institutionalization of what came natural as a result of certain efforts and serious efforts. And based on that appeared what I mentioned before, this new paradigm, new Tvet paradigm or model, professionalité. It started only in 2020 under the federal project with the same title. And it's part of the strategy of within the strategy of social and economic development of the Russian Federation. And the goal of this project, of this new paradigm, is to ensure a comprehensive modernization of Tvet system towards building a new sector-based model of training qualified specialists relevant for the labor market. So it aims at synchronizing the Tvet system with the national economy in the situation of the import substitution that we're living in. So the innovative curricula developed with participation of employers and real participation are competence-based, intensive, and address the needs of sector labor markets and concrete enterprises, and contain an enhanced workplace learning component distributed all across the program. So it's not practical training or workplace period to reinforce something. It's that you learn with it. It's part of the curriculum. It's part of the competences that you acquire at the workplace. which makes it really innovative for us. And as a result, students can acquire a relevant occupational qualification after 2 years, and they can start working while still in college because they're known to the employer and they've been in the workplaces assigned by employers. And again, there is trust between employers and the students have better opportunities of further placements and work opportunities. So this new paradigm envisages intensification of teaching and learning. So combining most up-to-date equipment for practical training, for acquiring practical competencies, and most up-to-date teaching methodologies and benefits of digitalization. The students have to take a demo exam in a real-life situation at the workplace, at the enterprises. So the model is, well, it's nothing so very new, but given the scope of the country, the number of Tvet colleges, and the change that ensues in the relations between enterprises, between companies, businesses, and the Tvet institutions, this is really a very serious undertaking and a real change. Now, what we have done to date, so it started only practically a year ago. First of all, the whole paradigm is based on the cluster principle. What is cluster principle? We have sector enterprises and colleges that are in cooperation with the sector enterprises. And there may be one central key enterprise within the cluster, or in some sectors where there are no large-scale enterprises, you will have simply numerous companies and colleges interacting with them. So we have about over 200 clusters already established in 67 regions of the country. And we have 24 sectors involved, over 380 companies have partnered with colleges and are jointly participating in the implementation of the new paradigm. And of course, the new paradigm calls for new curricula. And as you can see from the slide, 1,147 new core Tvet curricula have been developed and approved. Over 85% of graduates are expected to get jobs in the partner companies. And all these processes have been accompanied by teacher upskilling and instructors of practical training upskilling, because they have to come to grips with the new equipment, with the new technologies, with the new teaching and learning things. Over 4,000 people have been upskilled. And I repeat, it's only 1 year. And of course, the project is supported by the appropriate legal framework. And there are different regulations issued by the Ministry of Education, but these are many and probably not so important at this point. Okay, that was what I wanted to share with you. And if you want to learn more about this initiative, you're welcome. We'll share what we have learned and what we're learning, and we're always willing to learn from you. Thank you.
Ma'am, thank you very much. Can you give a round of applause? Ma'am, can we ask you to share the presentation with the secretariat so that we can read. Thank you very much for the model. Very interesting. It's something that it's of interest to us, so we'd really like if you can share with us so that we can further read. Now we are moving over. Thanks, ma'am. Now we're moving over to China representative, Ms. Shiklung, pardon me, Secretary of the Party Committee, Ninja Vocational Institute of Railway Technology. In the interest of time, ma'am, you've only got 5 minutes. If you can just keep it nice and sweet, short. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Malawa, and greetings from China to my colleagues online and friends in South Africa. I'm the Chancellor of Nanjing Vocational Institute of Railway Technology, so today is my great pleasure to share our conception and comments on the challenges that workplace-based learning needs to address. Business and education are two sectors with inherently different pursuits. While employers in business sector care about cost control, pursuing high efficiency with maximized possible output and minimized reasonable input. Schools care more about quality control, pursuing high quality education with sufficient academic, educational, and professional resources input. Employers are usually reluctant to have internship students with insufficient skills taking on-site work position because this usually means inefficiency. Schools intend to believe that students today will be employees tomorrow, so employers and schools should share education and training responsibilities. However, employers are not readily holding the same viewpoint. Joint efforts from government, enterprises, and education institutes are essential to address the challenge. The vocational education law in China encourages enterprises to provide apprenticeship opportunities based on certain proportion of the totals of their employees. It also assures that enterprises participating in apprenticeship training can enjoy subsidies from the government. The National Ministry of Education quite recently initiated an action plan to enhance the industry education integration. The action plan proposed a policy toolbox, including finance support, fiscal funding, land using priority, and credit awarding to motivate enterprise and employers to participate in apprenticeship and workplace-based learning. Besides a commitment from the government, education institutes and enterprises also need to work together very closely. Take Nanjing Vocational Institute of Railway Technology, my institute, for example. We have established what we call 5 duals mode. The first is dual key role players. We provide 2+1 programs and apprenticeship programs, while 2+1 is a combination of 2 years study on campus and 1 year learning in workplace. Apprenticeship programs focus on the integration of campus study and workplace learning. These programs are jointly provided by school and enterprises. Enterprises participate in student recruitment, in curriculum designing, and in the whole training process. So both are key role players in student development. The second is dual basis building, online resource base and offline training base. We have established high-speed rail training base on campus, as well as a virtual simulation resource base. So both spaces effectively support our students to be better prepared for workplace-based learning. The third is dual identity recognition. The students enrolled will have two identities. One is student identity offered by the school. The other is apprenticeship identity offered by enterprises. The fourth is dual instructor guidance. Industrial professionals are invited to school campus to give instructions to students and to set up workstations. And school teachers are required to stay periodically in workplace to update on-site knowledge and skills. The fifth, dual standards and certificates. We have established an assessment package which combine academic standards with apprenticeship standards and integrated graduation certificates with vocational qualification certificate. The outcome of 5 dual mode is very encouraging, welcomed by students, by parents, and employers. So in summary, to address the challenge of employers' reluctance to workspace-based learning, we need A, motivating policies to reduce employers' risks and to increase their willingness. B, ensuring what students learn matches well with on-site needs of workplaces, therefore to enhance employers' confidence. And C, offering school enterprise joint programs to keep employers standing closely with us in achieving high quality vocational education. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, from China. Colleagues, we have come to an end. Oh, sorry. How can I skip India? Sorry. I'm thinking of, apologies for that. From India, do we have the representative ready from India?
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, sir. Welcome. You've got 5 minutes to present. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
नमस्कार. नमस्कार आप सबको मेरी तरफ से. Employer reluctance might be a big problem for a country like India, having a vast population due to lack of skilled manpower. To overcome these issues, various initiatives have been taken. Dual system of training. The dual system of training is an amalgamation of theoretical training imparted through ITIs and practical training imparted through industries. It is a two-campus training model wherein ITIs and industries both are involved. The main objective of this scheme is to strengthen industry connect, impart quality and industry relevant training in participation from the ITIs and industries. Under this scheme, the duration of industry exposure may varies from 15% to the maximum of 50% of the total duration of the trade. It depends upon the duration of the trade, whether it will be 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years. The industry exposure might be in the multiple blocks as when it is required. Till date, more than 1,000 ITIs have signed MOU with industry partners. And the assessment will, whether it will be done by the ITIs or industries, both. After completion of training under DST, a trainee will be more employable and industry ready. And it will be on the easier side for the employer to absorb them. Apprenticeship. In India, Apprenticeship Act was enacted long way back in 1961. Under this scheme, a trainee can learn while they earn, while learning various specific trade or gain recognized qualification. Under this scheme, a tripartite contract is signed between the trainee, industry, and the approving authority. To promote the apprenticeship, a flagship scheme was launched in 2016 that is called National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme. It was launched to provide financial incentives, technology, and advocacy support, which will reduces the reluctance to industries. This scheme comprises of two main components: sharing of 25% of the prescribed stipend to a maximum of 1,500 per month per apprentice with the employers, and sharing of basic cost up to a maximum of 7,500 per apprentice. Ease of doing business. India has emerged as one of the most attractive destinations, not only for investment, but also for doing business. India jumps from 142 position in 2014 to 63 position in 2019 in World Bank's Ease of Doing Business ranking 2020 under the able guidance of our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi. I must say, if government will intervene as a facilitator manner rather than regulatory, then employer reluctance can be reduced drastically. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for that presentation. Colleagues, thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. We have come to an end. Now I am going to open up for questions, input. Do we have any question or any input? Going one, twice. Mr. Silo, where is the revolving mic? Can we please?
I think I can speak loud enough.
No, just wait. They won't be able to hear you, those who are virtually. If you can just introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Program Director. I am Selosi Tusha, the Director for Lecturer Development and Support in the Tvet branch. I want to ask a question not only to South Africans but to the other member states. When one goes to other countries, you know, particularly European countries, like your Germany, your Netherlands, your Austria, you find that industry, takes it as its duty to, partner with, colleges, Tvet colleges, to take up apprentices, without any force. It's like it's in their culture. Now, in South Africa, you find similar industry or companies from countries such as those where they are not forced by anyone. But when they come here, they want some incentives. They want to be pushed. They have some way of saying we can't take more, so they are a bit reluctant as the thing goes. What I want to know is, what are we doing in South Africa? And what are the other Brics member countries experiencing? Do they have the same experience as we have, where other companies are reluctant, but in their mother countries, they are more eager, to partner with Tvet schools of Tvet education or Tvet colleges to take up apprentices, to open up access for placements of students and teachers or lecturers. What is their experience in other countries, and in South Africa, what are we doing to make sure that we encourage such companies to open up access without, looking at incentives first? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Selo. Let's take a second question here in the middle. Can you just keep your hand up, sir? Yes, there. Introduce yourself. Noted.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's Ponto Msweu. I'm hailing from Tshwane South College. Look, I think there is a nexus between the two presentations, both the one that was presented by Ms. Ngesi yesterday and the one that was presented by yourselves. So one will want to make an input on the basis of the two presentations with the greatest respect, because equally yesterday we were never given an opportunity to engage the presentation of Ms. Ngesi, which was quite exciting. I must also take the opportunity to welcome both presentations. I think to add on what Mr. Stucha is saying is quite correct, because we are of the considered opinion that there must be able to be a vertical cooperation from the industry and horizontal integration from the government and institutions. But within our context, our education system is a bit fragmented in that particular context, because there is no better coordination in terms of a good working relationship between the industry and institutions. And as a result, we find it difficult to be able to a great extent, do great in terms of placement of learners and all that, to consolidate that good working relationship with companies. And if you are able to consolidate that good working relationship, it's going to be able to be working quite very well, because it's also going to speak of the curriculum, because yesterday when also Ms. Ngesi spoke about the decolonization of education, the industry must play a very critical role, because that of which you are imparting from the lecture halls must be able to be a curriculum that is responsive to what is actually happening in the industry. So if you don't have that type of relationship, you are going to have an education system that is fragmented and misplaced, and to a great extent is going to be able to add more to the high level of unemployment, on the basis that the things that we are teaching these particular students, they are not required by the industry. So we're saying we must be able to ensure that we foster a good working relationship with the industry, and by so doing, we'll be addressing the issue of the decolonization of education. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for the input. Can we move the mic here in front to DDG? Thank you. Okay, can we? There's a good arrangement there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Peggy Ngubani, DHET. Chair, may I direct my question to Ms. Mosesi? Because she provided a South African context on how we deal with these things. But there is something that we needed maybe to unpack, precisely because of the context at which our education system is in South Africa, particularly on the basis of the demographics of our students and the capability of those students to be absorbed in a work-based learning environment. I'm saying this because the cohort of the student that we have are mainly NCV students. And those students are, in the main, very young people. But if you try and juxtapose with the other countries, you are talking about students that are well matured, students whose curriculum could be aligned exactly to the world of work. So I think we need to draw a very clear distinction between our South African context and what is happening in other countries so that we compare apples with apples. So I wanted to check with Ms. Musesi, the gold medal that you achieved, where was it based? In which category of students was it based? And what lessons have you learned from paraphrasing all these strategies that you alluded to? I think they tie very well with the Brazilian model. But what differs from our program with the Brazilian model is that they seem to have, for a lack of a better word, I'll use the concept of fluid curriculum. Fluid curriculum in the sense that it doesn't happen like in our context where we have a very static curriculum that is examination driven, you know, but they will have a discourse and a discussion with the potential industry partners to say, how do we couch the curriculum that is going to be relevant to their needs? And therefore, when we are discharging the curriculum to the candidates or those students that will be placed in a work-based learning environment, it is contextualized to those variety of industries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, very much. Can you pass the mic? Thank you. Can we try it again? Did you?
Sengubani sabotage. No, thanks, Program Director. Anyway, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask questions.
It's a conference.
As a chair of TCA. But just bringing this to the topic, which talks to the employer reluctance. Mine will be to get an understanding across all countries, the size and shape of the employers. Because in the South African context, we still have a challenge of a shrinking economy and a large number of small, medium enterprises that operate in an informal economic sector. To say what could be their role in expanding the opportunities for young people for workplace-based learning. I'm saying this because I was listening, I think it's China, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of their dual apprenticeship, and having visited a number of countries that are actually implementing what is called, the Germans are calling it the dual apprenticeship, where you see a large number of participants being the small, medium enterprises as opposed to large corporates. What is the model around these Brics member states in ensuring that small, medium enterprises also play a major role? There was also a mention, I think it's China or India, that the recruitment of students is not done by the institutions, but it's done by the enterprises, which for me says it then eliminates the issue of young people that will end up not being placed because they will be wandering around as to where will they go, how is that model working in their respective countries. But I also like the system that India is using, but my interest will be the quantification of the practical versus the theory. And on the practical, what are the assessment models that they are using for the practicals? I know with us, sometimes we push them towards trade testing and so forth. South Africa, we have a bit of a challenge because we spend a lot of money and investment in assessing students on theory, which is the students that should be assessed on practical work or more of a project-based type of education. But if you look at the quantum of examinations and assessments, it's more on a theoretical part as opposed to the practical part. So it will be more interesting to know how this is done in the other part of the continent. But other than that, we welcome and appreciate these presentations, and I think they provide an opportunity for us to share these best practices as member states. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, DDG. Do we have any question on online before we respond? Can we check? We are going to respond as follows. There is 2 questions that have been asked across all countries. And then there is one. India has also got a 3rd question that they need to comment around assessment model. Do we have a question? Mr. Gaza?
Thank you so much, colleagues. I'm attending today online because I had some urgent issues to attend to. I just want to say to our Russian friends, Privat, Ni hao, Ola, and Namaste. I just want to check with our Russian friends on the sectoral council that the new model that is being developed in Russia. I just want to understand what is the key incentive for this question for Anna. What's the key incentive that is being deployed in Russia? If you can perhaps explain to what extent the new drive import substitution is driving that process, or whether other incentives, because I think one of the discussion today, and I think to many countries, the problem, especially in the global south, is partly the small industry and the other, the large informal sector. But I just want to understand the Russian model, what incentives and the role of the import substitution that may perhaps be the biggest force in Russia that may drive this system. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I answer it?
No, just wait. No. Can we wait, ma'am? There's a certain order that we're going to follow.
Okay, whatever you say, you're the boss.
Oh, thank you. Not really. I'm trying my best here. I think there's 2 questions then that have been asked across all the countries. So we're going to start with China way up to South Africa. If you can just respond to those 2 questions. The one is about the industry taking part in the partnership. And then the second one is the size and then the shape of employers. So if we can just start with China, followed by India, Russia, Brazil, South Africa, and then each country address those 2 questions. Thank you.
主持人你好，我代替贺先生来回答这2个问题。第一个问题呢是关于这个伙伴关系的。正如这位先生所提出，要加强这个企业与学校的伙伴关系。他在欧洲和美国可能看到了更紧密的校企合作。但是呢，这种合作呢是建立在良好的立法基础以及企业的文化责任基础之上的。 这是存在一个演化关系的。我想呢，如果通过这种国家的立法、行业协会的支撑、学校和企业的平台搭建，那么呢，势必会让这种企业的社会责任感增加。这是一个文化的演进过程。关于第二个问题，雇主的这个规模的大小，正如南京铁道职业技术学院合作的企业呢，大多是轨道交通企业。轨道交通企业呢，是一种重投资、人员规模比较大的企业类型。那么得益于中国经济近2年稳健的发展，那么这些轨道交通企业呢，特别是与学校合作的轨道交通企业呢，有比较稳定的用人规模需求，那么就保证了学校和企业呢能够开展这种订单班的或者叫学徒制的合作。那么学校呢满足企业年度的用人计划需求，由企业呢到学校来预定合适的学生，学校和企业共同完成人才培养过程，当然包括课程计划的制定、课程教学的实施，以及课程的评价考核。这个考核呢，既包括学校的考核，也包括企业的考核。那么当完成这些评价与考核之后，学生就作为员工身份
Okay, can we move to India? Please be short and nice. Can we move to India to respond to the 2 questions? Thank you. You can go ahead, sir. No, it's that India or Brazil. Let's take Brazil to save time.
Yeah.
You can go ahead, sir.
Actually, no, in India.
Oh, okay. You can go ahead, sir.
It is like a voluntary mode. The activities are making memorandum of understanding with the industries who come forward to have the training. So normally our method is dual system of training. So thereby this industry connect can be done voluntarily so that effective training can take place in the industries. That is one part. And in India, when you are talking about the employer size and all, it is irrespective of the size. Even a micro employer also requested to engage the apprentices, or they can have them as interns. So thereby, it is not pertaining only to the major mega industries. So it applies even to the micro industries. So this is our response from Indian side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, India. Nice and short. Can we move to Russia?
So, I think the question addressed to us was about the incentives. So, what has made employers accept the new paradigm and get involved in it? Like I said, it was a gradual process of developing institutional models, of trying different formats, of building trust between Tvet and industry. But when it came to a situation of what the colleague has rightly mentioned, like import substitution, we needed to ensure a boost in the productivity, in the relevance of qualifications, relevance for the labor market, for the citizens, for the society as such. So the sum total of all these external factors plus the internal capacity that has been formed within the years, starting from the turn of the century, when we've been trying all those new approaches. I think it all got together, synergized, and actually produced the effect that it has produced. That's it.
Thank you, Russia. Can we then move to Brazil?
Yes. And we should not have, can you hear me?
You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. We should not have efficient political actions. To regulate the inclusion of WBL companies, but we are mobilizing for it. To have actions from the Ministry of Education with change in policy. And the main action that I could say is the government's initiative to create a Brazilian research and innovation company. And in this program, the inclusion of students is mandatory, whether in the small or large companies. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Can we then move to South Africa? And just be nice and short. You can press there.
Thank you, sir. And on the question of the reluctancy of the industry and practices that are in other countries, I think in our perspective as South Africa, it's more on the economic performance in our country, where we know of the economic times that we are operating in. So for companies to, without reluctance, open their environment without an incentive, it's a bit of a tall order to them. And the second point is on the inherent cultural practices of the individuals that are supposed to be placed, our students. I just need to keep it on saying inherent culture and their practices where there's expectations. And also, these companies are expected to be registered companies that would have been paying a levy. Therefore, it's a tall order to them to, without incentives, open their doors and not be reluctant to take our students without anything coming their way. Bearing in mind that in my presentation I did indicate that they are profit-driven, therefore it makes it a bit difficult for us, unlike in other countries. On the second one, there was the demographics that was asked. I think I'm
size and
yes,
shape of employers.
I hope I'm on the right one. There was mention that mainly the cohort would be an NCV, which is not the same dynamic across campuses, colleges?
No, that one is with regards to you winning your gold, and then what lesson learned around there that you can share with us in terms of your placement. You won as a result of you placing more students, you won a gold. So what they want to know now, what lessons learned out of that process that we can share?
Okay, let me take that one on the gold. This was on the highest number of local and international partnerships. So the practice or the category was on the international partnership itself, whereby a write-up has been done. And the nature of the partnership, if I may share it with this sitting, is that it is a model of an ideal type of a partnership where companies come on board, an international company come on board right at the beginning when the students are registering. They would identify the students, test them, identify them, take them on board, and continuously is a benefit to the students that are trained and being identified from the scratch. They are trained by the company during research periods, together with their lecturers. They do company visits when scheduled, and ultimately such students are taken in by the company, an international company based in South Africa, of course, for apprenticeship training. So they are captured right at the beginning of NCB level 2 or at N2 at the time when they started until when they are done, and ultimately they form a very strong link and bond with the industry. The reason I'm saying it's a very ideal type of partnership. Industry is always on board. Industry comes, I have allocated an individual from the industry, of course, to directly link with the campus that will have been identified for this partnership. And additionally, the particular industry would also own that space of the workshop or workshops that they would have equipped, and continuously maintain machinery or equipment that is in the workshop that we have equipped. The example I can give in this one.
No, it's fine, ma'am.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you very much. No, it suffices. Can I just, as we're closing, can I quickly ask India to comment about the assessment model? Just 1 minute. India, are you able to comment about your assessment model? What type of assessment model are you using?
Sir, in India, the assessment is being done by the concerned industry themselves. So whenever the candidates are with the industries, they shall do formative assessment. Finally, everything shall be uploaded to the government portal. Automatically, certificates may be downloaded. It has been, all the powers have been given to the concerned industry, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice and short. Colleagues, I just want to extend my appreciation to all my panelists. I must say you've got a lot of questions in comparison with the other priority areas. It just shows the interest. Thank you very much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mbulawa, for the session, and thank you very much to your panelists, both physical and those who are online. It is indeed an area of interest. Ladies and gentlemen, we are running against time, and we really want to plead that we keep it short. We are now going to ask the Treasurer General of SAPCO to come and give the presence in recognition of the work that has been done by the team. I would also in the same request the provincial chairperson of Limpopo, Mr. Mamabulo, to prepare himself to get closer to where I am. Oh, I'm seeing him now. So that we don't waste any time after this. Please come to the front, Mr. Mbulawa.
I'm waiting for the principal to take a nice picture.
Oh, you can stand here. Mr. Mamabolo, the provincial chairperson of SAPCO in Limpopo and the principal of Capricorn Tvet College. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pique, the SG of our organization. Greetings to the delegates, and let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the DDG for Tvet, the president of our organization, national office bearers, NEC members, senior officials within our Department of Higher Education and Training, delegates from Brics and member states who have joined virtually, all protocol observed. This is the last day of our summit, and this also forms part of the last presentation, and we appreciate the audience that is still available in the house to conclude the summit. Yesterday and today, presenters across all of the 4 Brics member states made presentations on the 4 sectoral priorities. The next 50 minutes, wherein we'll be allocating 10 minutes to each representative. Each country representative is going to highlight 3 main issues as take-homes emanating from all the presentations based on the 4 sectoral priorities. I'm now going to request that I be joined on the stage by the South African representative, Dr. M.G. Mutapo, principal of Tvet College. Let's clap hands for him. I'll also like to request a Brazil representative to prepare virtually, the Russia representative, India representative, and I happen not to see Dr. Lu Yufeng. I hope will also be joining us virtually. And
China is here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am, for making that acknowledgement. I'm going to request the presenters in the next activity that will be undertaking that you are now the cooks or chefs. The reason why I'm saying that it's that your mandate or your brief is to highlight 3 issues emanating from all the presentations. And cooks and chefs, whenever they are taking that responsibility, there is an attempt at times to try and put spices and minestrone and, your beef stock. What I'm appealing is that give us the meat. The reason why I'm saying that is because at the end of the session, it's important that I make this comment. At the end of the session, we are to summarize the session, highlighting the synergies, the overlaps, and listing the issues that will be taken forward. So as we'll be presenting, please assist us in identifying the critical issue. SG, I'm just about to commence, but you can come closer. All right, thank you very much. All right, no, thank you very much. I'm advised by the SG that we are pressed for time. I'm done with my comments. But Apparently, I'm advised that we should just take a 5 minutes leg stretch, take tea and bring it inside as a working tea so that we should commence. It's 8 minutes past. The latest 15 minutes will be starting. Thank you very much. Let's have a leg stretch of 5 minutes, grab tea and come back. I'm going to come outside and ring a bell as soon as I don't see people coming in. Thank you. Yeah, all right.
Area for halal and healthy savory food, exhibition area, and for normal food outside.
Colleagues, let's settle down. Let's come in and have a working tea. We are now starting IT. Can you just indicate that those virtually they are in? Sure. Thank you very much. We are back and we'll now call upon South Africa representative, Dr. M.G. Mutapo, who is the principal of studio in Tvet College. Doctor, you've got 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am George Mutapo, and I'm the principal of Sidibeng Tvet College. Like my fellow colleagues, all protocol observed, and I share the same sentiments as my learned friend, Dr. Muswaba, of a task that is ahead of me. Because I want to believe that as you have been sitting down, you have been taking notes, you already have your own take-homes. And I believe that. So I'm going to try my best to keep within the 10 minutes. And also, Program Director, as requested, try to give you the meat and not the bones. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank the leadership of SACPO for trusting me. Hopefully, you must have noticed something in me, and I really appreciate that, and I don't take that for granted. We have learned that hybrid, blended teaching and learning require an investment of the infrastructure, both physical and human. That we need to have policies, LMS platform, data, connectivity, staff and capacity. And we've also told that, as opposed to the past during COVID-19, where Zoom and Teams were the two predominant platforms, currently we've got multiple platforms. Even what we call social media, as indicated, can also be used for teaching and learning. WeChat, WhatsApp, TikTok have got some facilities that are available in the platforms that we've indicated. And if you ask me, what is it that we take home? I want to challenge you to think of a future without barriers. I want to challenge you to think of a future implementing hybrid and blended teaching and learning without barriers. What do I mean without barriers? With multiple e-books, workforce, data, connectivity, and I'm talking about 5G, I'm talking about 7G, laptops, LMS, Matsehlo, maybe e-exam, and without load shedding. I can only see an e-campus or a virtual campus with an address on cloud, with students all over the world, with lecturers all over the world, writing exams, with super fast laptops, installed with Invigilator PC for invigilation and submission, and hopefully graduations online. Do you imagine that future? We also spoke about green skills in vocational education and training. We have learned about green entrepreneurship.
We've learned about green skills, green occupational training. And there should be a transition of program offering and curriculum to enhance the green economy. I can ask you a question. Who is installing the solar panels as we speak? Who's installing them? So in other words, what we can take home is that solar installation, e-recycling, water treatment should form part of our curriculum of today. Back to the question of who is installing the solar system, I need to indicate to you, ladies and gentlemen, that our students, when they go out to be entrepreneurs, they compete with informal economic sector. So in other words, this sector currently is installing solar systems. We also spoke about fostering entrepreneurship skills in the Tvet to develop youth for employment. Entrepreneurship model require investment. We've learned that for our students to go out and compete well in the world, that we must have an infrastructure that has got business hubs at our colleges, factory prototypes, and technical hubs so that we don't send them to the world and hope they come back to be better entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship must be included in all vocational programs. Because if we want them to go out there and be entrepreneurs, where will they have learned those skills from? And I want to pose a question here now. Who is teaching entrepreneurship? That question has been asked. Who is teaching entrepreneurship? Is it a lecturer with a degree in entrepreneurship and a PGCE, a teacher's qualification, and back to class? That lecturer has never tested his business plan out there. Unlike in the engineering, our engineering lecturers have been to college, have been to industry, have got teacher's qualification, and they're back to teaching in our classes. So we need to think outside the box and incorporate company guest visits or guest lecturing for our students. And lastly, we spoke about partnership for workforce. Currently, many of us, we have signed MOUs. But the question is, if you have signed 300 MOUs and 50% of your graduates are not placed, the question should be, who are we partnering with and why? I'm asking thought-provoking questions from presentations that we have heard from yesterday. There's a question that we dealt with this morning. Why are employers reluctant? Why are they reluctant? And could it be, and I'm asking myself and I'm asking you, could it be that we have left them behind when we draft curriculum and they are wondering what is it that we are doing at our colleges? Could it be? Could it be that we knock at their doors when we have a graduate and a funder, and we hope that our graduate match that industry needs and expertise? Could it be? Could it be that we talk less to them and more about them when we are here? Could it be? So we need to do more in bringing them close, and that's what we had, and be closer to industry is what has been discussed in the morning. Let me give an example of a partner that we have already indicated through DPA in the morning. At Citibank Tvet College, we've got a partnership with Cummins and Komatsu, international companies, USA and Japanese. They recruit students from NCV level 2. They put them through interviews, shadow mesh to test their behavioral patterns and vet them for criminal check. At NCV level 2, during recess, they take them to their industry. They take our lecturers to the industry And they also train our lecturers and equip a dedicated workshop at our college. When those students finish, they place them at their industry for partnership. When they finish, they place them at a mining town closer to their home place to an employment. And that's where gold is coming from. With those few words, I think there is a need for us to focus on skills in high demand. During our graduations, if half of a graduation program is filled with students from a management assistant, the question is, where are we going to place them? So we need to balance that equation during a recruitment process of enrolling students in skills in high demand so that they become productive and they are placed. In an ideal, a student at the beginning at college must have or attached to an industry so that after graduations, those partners are closer to us. With those few words, I want to thank you, and I hope with those thought-provoking questions, we can take something home from all the priorities that have been exposed and dealt with by experts from yesterday and today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for working with me in adhering to time. We're now going to move to Brazil. And can I appeal with those that are virtual that work with me? Once I approach the mic and I greet you, it means your time is eaten by the rats in my mother language. Over to your Brazil representative. IT, are we set? Brazil? Thank you. Over to you, sir. You've got 10 minutes. Thank you. We can't hear you. Let's try and establish whether it's from your side or our side. IT, is it on our side or his? I hope he is able to hear us.
Well, thank you very much. It was really a pleasure to observe how many converging points we've got amongst BRICS countries. And then we've had the opportunity to discuss the way hybrid education in the post-COVID context can contribute to diminishing poverty and to bridging these gaps between poverty and other issues. Well, what we could see is that from our perspective and concerning what we've been doing as government, what we've been doing as a country, our national curriculum states that digital learning should be really an integral part of the curriculum. And if digital learning is an integral part of the curriculum, certainly we will enable our students to reach a blended education, which somehow can be another opportunity for them, another opportunity to make them engaged into the job market, right? So this is one point. And besides that, it's necessary for us still to provide some of our students with tools. And also when I mean tools, I don't mean just digital learning, but I mean computers, laptops, so that from home they can also work. As far as the role of green skills is concerned, we're really thinking about horizontal and vertical training movements And some of our schools are doing it so that it can improve this issue and so that it can diminish the amount of garbage and somehow promote a kind of cleaner planet. In terms of fostering entrepreneurship skills to develop youth employment, this is not an easy task. Certainly not an easy task. But again, what makes it harder is that even though we are thinking about vocational education, we don't have exactly a kind of direction on the part of the Ministry of Education, on the part of our national curriculum with regards to it. And also, this is somehow difficult because we have many different concepts with regards to what entrepreneurship is and what entrepreneurship means. As far as partnerships for work-based learning and employers is concerned, again, that's a very difficult issue and hard issue. And we are pretty much aligned with South Africa, as our presenter pointed out, because it's difficult sometimes for companies to have this, and also it's difficult for us to go on providing what companies want, because a key word for everything we've seen these days is partnership in each and everything we do. That's basically my message, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brazil representative. We are now going to move to Russia. Over to you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Good. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to participate in this very interesting event. Before getting down to the 3 takeaways from the presentations which we enjoyed yesterday, I would like to start by thanking the initiators and organizers for this seminar that has given us a wonderful chance to get together, even if we participate virtually, and to learn from each other. As for the main issues to take back home, I would like to make the following points relating to the sectoral priorities that may guide us in our own work and in cooperation with Brics. Number 1, we are all facing similar challenges. That is true. Let's take sectoral priorities one by one. As for digitalization, digital divide, risk of undermining human values in the context of the expansion of virtual reality. As for the work-based learning, employers are often, in real terms, reluctant to offer real-life training opportunities at their enterprises. And in many instances, the national legal framework is not friendly towards young people in the Tvet in terms of offering them work placement. As for entrepreneurship, though the relevance and the value of entrepreneurial skills seem to be accepted and welcomed by all, we more often see publications and cases related to entrepreneurship from higher education, but not from Tvet. And we are more used to applying the typical helix model of innovation to universities. And this means the undervaluing the capacity of Tvet, schools and colleges to foster entrepreneurial behavior during the period of study. As for the green skills, they are hugely important. No one questions that. However, it is obvious that green skills can't be cultivated via lectures and reading textbooks. In isolation from building green companies, campuses, and from green culture, integrating in every aspect of the Tvet school or college activities. Number two, we are seeking solutions and determined never to give up. As for digitalization, COVID-19 has given us all a big push for digitalization in Tibet, for developing and improving teaching and learning methodologies, for looking for and finding IT solutions relating to the administration and delivery of teaching and learning. As a whole, new universe has opened up. Online programs, developments, online assessment of learners' achievements, new occupations in the labor market, for example, instructional design, and so on. As for work-based learning, we, thanks to the acceleration of online teaching and learning and the opportunities offered by digitalization, virtual practical training opportunities, virtual work placements, and onboarding options has to be made available. And that is very helpful. As for entrepreneurship in Tibet, we now can offer entrepreneurial skills training using virtual reality, augmented reality, or a combination of both to develop immersive context for trainees and learners. As for the green skills, digitalization can contribute to fostering these skills via immersive context and to visualizing risk of neglecting environmental issues in the area of climate change, carbon footprint, emissions, and so on. Number three, in the context of the above, here are proposals for our future cooperation on all the sectoral priorities. We suggest that we have to perform stock taking of the 4 sectoral priorities in each of our countries to specify and prioritize key critical joint interventions. And secondly, we have to seek for investments to support these interventions. On the whole, dear colleagues, I would like to thank all of you for organizing this event. And I think Brics has a great future. Next year, Russia will be the chairman of Brics activities. So I hope that we'll meet in Moscow physically or virtually. Well, it doesn't matter. But in any case, we have started our dialogue and our discussion, and we'll continue them in next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, representative of Russia. We will now move over to India, representative. And thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we can hear you.
As per today's agenda, in regard to the takeaways, we would like to highlight on 3 important takeaways. One, we are all agreed and we are talking about digital transformation. It is also related to the first priority, that is hybrid and blended teaching. The second one, we are very much interested in regard to green initiative And we'd like to have the takeaway, the 5 pillars, which has been presented by our other countries, especially green campus, green curricula, green community, green research and technology, and finally, green culture. I think basically if you get into these 5 pillars, and if you're able to have them, I think definitely the green initiative, there is no end to it. We can have it. That is the main issue. Then the last takeaway, we are interested in the ease of doing business, and the other member country who has told us that particularly in regard to entrepreneur skills, there should be a quick and easy mode of loan dispersal. A person who would like to have his own entrepreneurship, they should be assisted, supported by the government, and the policy should be in such a way that it should be correlated with the ease of doing business, and all the support, whatever they need, should be given well on time. So if these 3 things, that is digital transformation, green initiative, and in pertaining to entrepreneurship skills, in specifically quick loan dispersals and ease of doing business. So these are the 3 takeaways what we would like to have. And at this juncture, I'd like to tell some issues also, or I can say it is challenges. When you consider the first priority, that is hybrid and blended teaching, a country like India, where the population is in 14 billion, with varied languages. Officially, there are 22 different languages are there. So having this hybrid and blended teaching might be a Herculean task, even though we have adopted, and in the most popular languages, the blended learning is being taught to the Indian students. Then coming across the second priority, under green initiative, our major challenge is on safe disposal of e-waste. So that is the major issue for us, because as I said, we have a very huge population, and every one of us are having mobile, laptop, computers, and which are getting updated every moment. People are discarding older ones and coming to the latest ones. So there should be a proper disposal method should be there. So that is a great challenge under the second priority. The third one is under entrepreneurship skills, third priority. Actually, here I would like to say that even though in India, entrepreneurship skills has been made as a mandatory subject in all our TVT curriculums, even it is being started being introduced from 6th grade onwards. But the main thing is that after the completion of their programs, it depends on the mindset of the people. Even though you teach on entrepreneurship skills, if a person or individual is not having that mindset to have its own establishment, then this entrepreneurship skill, whatever you teach, may not come for a help. So this is in regard to our challenge in regard to priority third. Then the last one, on the fourth priority, work-based learning, we have major issue in regard to advocacy, that is awareness. We employ different schemes, as I was telling, dual system of training, flexible mode of memorandum of understanding, wherein industry themselves can create their own curriculum, engage the trainees, award certificates. But in spite of doing all these things, if the establishments or industries are not having the awareness that such schemes are prevailing, so again, it is a waste of effort. So our major thing is awareness or advocacy on apprenticeship, internship, dual system of training, and flexi MOUs. So these are the 4 challenges in regard to 4 priorities would like to highlight here. Once again, we thank everyone for giving this opportunity to address in this eminent forum. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, India representative. We'll now move to China representative. Over to you. 10 minutes, please.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thank you.
Let's try again. There is a terrible feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Please go ahead.
Now, can you hear my, can you watch my screen? See my screen?
Yes.
It's okay?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. If we need to choose from the four very important issues to choose 3-1, it's really a very difficult task for us because all these issues are so important this time provided by this conference. So if really want to choose, let's say we could like to choose 3-1. First is a hybrid or blended teaching and learning, which is a digital transformation of Tvet. The secondary is about green skills development because it's related to sustainable development, not only in China and for all of the world. For the third one is entrepreneurship because it's related to the students' employment to improve the graduates' employment rate, etc. But the most important thing is that for Tvet, if we want to make all these important issues successfully, we need to establish very strong partnership with our private sectors, with industries and enterprises. So let's say partnership is the basis of all the foundation for the success of Tvet, including digitalization, including green skills development, including entrepreneurship. So these three topics, three issues is more focused, but for the partnership should be integrated into these three aspects. So it's our choice. Why we make this choice? Because, because it related to our Tvet purpose or our objectives. According to the basic function of Tvet, Tvet need to develop the skills for all students, all individuals. So it means that we need to establish an open and a flexible system, make all people could access into the Tvet system. So we need to get a flexible way, provide a flexible pathway. So what kind of tools we need to use? Digital technology. So need to provide hybrid teaching and learning models, and also to transform our programs to reflect the real demand of the digitalization of the different industries or occupations, etc., to reform our curriculum and even use the digital technology to improve the quality of our management, etc., etc. So skills for all employments and for all students, not only let them have the chance to go inside the Tvet system, but also we need to train our students, make them get a real job, get job. So entrepreneurship training is a very important one. After this kind of training or entrepreneurship skills development, they could not only have their own business. Meanwhile, they could employ some other people, which is a very important issue to resolve the youth unemployment issue. And of course, for the rest, we need to develop soft skills, but I think this relate to students' sustainable development. So this is one choice, one basis for why we did choice for the digital or hybrid teaching and learning and entrepreneurship, because it's on the basis of the basic foundation of Tvet. And the secondary skills, we need to skills for economies. Now, this economy at the moment should be sustainable. And this economy, how to improve the development of an economy, needs-oriented or demand-oriented of the enterprises or industry. Now, green skills is so important because it's related to the also transformation of industries, enterprises, and also related to the development of the whole of the world. And the needs of industries, of course, we need to establish partnership with industries and the enterprises. Through this cooperation, of course, everyone talk about how to think about it to make it feasible. Mutual benefits mechanism, we need to think about it. Otherwise, just one-side purpose is not feasible. So you see, our choice is mainly on the basis of the Tvet, its own purpose. Skills for all individuals, skills for economies, and skills for societies. But all these, the most important thing is that we need to integrate it, all these skills development through the cooperation with private sectors. Brics, I also found is very significant this time is that all our Brics delegates show similarities, similar interest, and we reach same ideas. We have same ideas and think about the common future. So let's make common efforts to develop our students' skills together to have a more beautiful future. Thank you.
Delegate, thank you. We've come to the end of the presentation, but I'm going to, in 2 minutes or so, try and summarize. And can I get my quality assurer or resource person? You know, we're doing it dual. The program director was taking notes, but I've also asked one of a resource from the college where I come from, so that we are able to just match the notes. I'm going to approach it differently. Just a minute. Thank you very much. My approach is how I'm going to deal with the last aspect of this session in trying to summarize the synergies, the overlaps. Is that as delegates here, all of us sitting here, as mostly as academics, listening to the presentation, one way or the other, we were able to make notes, our own observations, our own takeaways for all of us as members. One of the presenters did mention that we happen to experience quite a number of challenges that are similar as the Brics nation. And I'm just going to cite a few, but propose further that this long list that is developed, there will be a dedicated team, that will later present this to the President Forum. This will serve as a resource broadly. But largely, there were issues on hybrid and blended learning. There were issues of policy development. There were issues of resources availability. And I can see that I'm agreeing with my quality assurer, my resource. There is also the issue of change management, which we need to work on when we work on issues of hybrid and blended learning. But there was also a lot of emphasis by all Brics members on digitalization or the digital solutions, but also the hybrid on teaching and learning. There was also an issues of resources such as your LMS, your resource, your social media, etc. We talked about the e-invigilator and so on. Coming to the green skills as the second aspect, there are also synergies in that emphasis was made on the 5 pillars. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the green curricula, the green campus, etc. There was reference also to the green culture, integration. The Sustainable Development Goals, our SDGs, we also need to focus on those. Moving to the third one, which was entrepreneurship, there was a lot of emphasis on the curriculum and the vocational programs, but also what also came out very strongly, it's your virtual or augmented reality, but also coming up with the curriculum. What is it that we are talking about regarding entrepreneurship? Technical hubs, and who's teaching? The question is, there were also thought-provoking questions as to who's teaching entrepreneurship, an emphasis on having company visits, but also partnership. The last one was on will. The issue of reluctance, of companies came out, but what also came out was the issue of policy, and also asking ourselves as to who and why are we doing this, but also what also became very key was industry partnership and the role of the private sector. Hybrid learning, I think I've covered this, but also lastly, the issue of the need. Within the South African context, as I invite the program director, Mr. Pickett, to come over and conclude the session. Program director, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this, yesterday, CEO for ETDP SETA gave us the statistics. And what also came out there is the need category. The need category, with all this that we are talking about, be it hybrid learning, be it entrepreneurship, be it work integrated learning, at the end of the day, we need to come up with dedicated programs to address the need category. On that note, let me take this opportunity to thank you. Over to your program director. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mamabolo, and your team. I will now ask the Deputy President to hand out our tokens of appreciation, and would then request that you come to the front to receive those appreciations. Whilst they are engaging in this process, we have been informed that the receivers have not been returned as yet. if you know of somebody who was here yesterday and is not here today and you have their numbers, please send them a message to say we are looking for receivers, and it could be that they took them by mistake, and if they can acknowledge to have taken them, we will facilitate that they get them back into the college so that we take them to the company that has been contracted to do the work for us. We will really appreciate that if we can get those receivers back. It's a matter of fact that it won't work anywhere else. That gadget, the actual receiver, is connected to a receiver at the back, and without it be connected, it won't work. So we are really requesting, if there are some of us who might have taken it by mistake and they are not here and you know that they were here, just send them a message to say, if you did take it by mistake, please just indicate and we will facilitate that it be taken. Mr. Ngobo, I will then, you are appropriately dressed today. We will then also request that you please come and receive a gift. I'm told you are also destined to be acknowledged for what you have done in the conference. Please come to the front. Colleagues, we have now, you may use that side so that you can be close to the gift. We have now come to the end of the presentations of this conference. On Tuesday when we started, Wednesday when we started, Tuesday, we did indicate that the culmination of this conference would be with the ministerial, Brics ministerial conference that has also resumed today. We must feed into that particular conference the declarations that would come out of this particular conference. So your inputs, your discussions, and your deliberations will now be fed to the ministers' meeting that has resumed this morning. We are now going to request our DDG. I heard the president of Tvet mentioning all his names, and if he can do that, why can't I did it? We are going to request Mr. Samuel Zamokuhle Zungu to come to the stage and come and read to us the 2023 Brics Summit declarations. We can give him a very good round of applause as he comes forward.
Program Director, Mr. Pickett, thank you very much. I don't know what's fascinating about my names, but I think there's something into it. I appreciate the opportunity. Before I read the declaration, let me take this opportunity to thank the organizers of this seminar, very successful seminar. Can we give them a big round of applause? Also, the participants from all the Brics member states, those that are present here and those that are joining us virtually, let's also give them a round of applause. taking into account the issue of our time differences, but they managed to stay online even in the early hours of the morning in their respective countries, but they remained and they've been active participants. We say thank you to all of you. Again, this is what is going to take us as the BRICS nations forward. That level of commitment is applaudable. I want to also thank our department, the Department of Higher Education and Training, under the leadership of our Minister, Honorable Dr. Blade Nzimande, together with his Deputy, Honorable Buti Manamela, and our Director General, Dr. Kosinati Sishi. We want to say thank you to them for their leadership, for having hosted this very successful seminar, both here at Ekurhuleni and the events that have taken place, the main event in Mpumalanga. We want to say thank you to them. If it wasn't for their leadership, I don't think that we'll have such a successful event. Thank you very much to all of you. Now, let me go straight to what I've been tasked to do, which is the declaration of the 10th meeting, BRICS Ministers of Education, now focusing on the second BRICS Tvet President Forum, held here on the 12th and the 13th of July 2023. We, the BRICS Ministers of Education, and assigned representatives from the Federative Republic of Brazil, the Russian Federation, the Republic of India, the People's Republic of China, and the Republic of South Africa, having convened in Ekurhuleni Tvet College in South Africa on the 13th of July 2023 under the chairship of the Republic of South Africa and guided by the theme, Skilling for Growth, Development and Poverty Reduction through Vocational Education and Training, met to discuss issues of mutual interest, deepen cooperation and exchanges to aid the responsiveness and relevance of education and training in the current global context amongst BRICS member states. Hereby state, we jointly reaffirmed that the BRICS countries are committed in implementing the United Nations Education 2030 Agenda by promoting education, accessibility and equity, accelerating the development of quality education and training, encouraging exchanges amongst the youth, strengthening the cultivation of knowledge and sustainable development. On the first theme, which is hybrid blended teaching and learning in vocational institute to improve student access in post-COVID context, we will strive to use digital technological solutions, including innovative and inclusive solutions to promote lifelong learning and sustainable vocational education and training. We commit to strengthen joint activities amongst BRICS countries and create new cooperation opportunities and intensify partnerships already in progress. Improve the development of digital infrastructure and training systems for digital literacy and skills development, address the digital divide and promote digitization in education and training administration. Aim to improve and strengthen ICT literacy of lecturers and students and the ability to apply information and communication technologies, ICT, and cultivate students' ability to use ICT beyond the classroom. We further acknowledge the role ICT played during the COVID-19 pandemic by ushering in new forms of teaching and learning through online-based solutions. we agreed to accelerate innovative digital transformation in education and training using artificial intelligence, as agreed in the 9th Brics Education Ministers meeting held in China in May 2022. Promote digital-based international education and training, including Tvet exchange, develop digital campuses, and establish digital teaching and assessment platforms with expansive academic disciplines for staff and students. Lastly, link industry innovation and Tvet college offerings into the digitized world. On the second priority, which is the green skills in vocational education and training, we reaffirm our commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 13, which aims to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts, given worldwide experiences of flash flooding, long and extreme drought conditions, and more severe tropical storms due to rising temperatures on the Earth's surface. We recognize that vocational education and training plays a pivotal role to prepare people to devastating acts of climate change. Education and training programs can improve climate literacy amongst children, youths, and adults, and motivate them to play their part in reducing carbon emissions. We encourage Brics members to work together to develop multi-pronged approaches and references models for affordable access to renewable energies and solutions towards water and pollution treatment practices for benefiting its citizens and promoting healthier society. Member states recognize the importance of maintaining and promoting a greener climate, the security and stability of flood systems, and committing to increasing the use of renewable energies in ecology. On the third priority, fostering of entrepreneurship skills in the Tvet sector, we note with appreciation the Brics member states' initiatives in strengthening the approaches to growing the informal sectors for their respective economies in an effort to eradicate poverty and reduce unemployment. To further integrate entrepreneurship development in vocational education, source talent from industry and innovation sector, to improve the role technical vocational education in advancing socio-economic development, supporting the establishment of the Brics Tvet Cooperation Alliance by hosting various joint initiatives to support entrepreneurial incubator projects and the promotion of supplier development programs for supporting small and medium enterprises, strengthening the entrepreneurship development in all levels of education amongst Brics member states, and impart the requisite skills set to students to consider self-employment as a valuable career path, and jointly build a platform for exchanges and cooperation between vocational institutions and the corporate sector. On the fourth priority, purposeful partnerships for workplace-based learning amidst employer reluctance. We jointly reaffirm that there is a growing urgency to consider the role of technical vocational education institutions in contributing to the creation of sustainable societies through the execution of meaningful partnerships and joint collaborations, more specifically nurturing management and leadership staff, lecturers, and students. Enable education in the context of digital transformation and fostering partnerships that are mutually beneficial for the advancement of colleges in infrastructure development skills and best practice sharing. To cultivate talents and energize with captains of industry and the construction of a platform that seamlessly allows for students and lecturer placements. Cooperatively develop teaching materials and course resources that meet local industry needs with international perspective. Exchange Tvet experiences and concepts, jointly formulate Tvet standards, and encourage collectively to promotion of quality development of technical vocational education and training. To further advocate the concepts of sustainable development into Tvet colleges and the workplace alike. Support the Brics network, University International governing, and give consideration to expand members of the Brics network university to include more vocational and community college from Brics member states. The expansion should happen while acknowledging the Brics network university membership is voluntary and that members should abide by the protocols as expressed in the Memorandum of Understanding on the establishment of the Brics network university signed in 2015. We continue to support colleges, universities, industry partnerships amongst Brics members advanced through the Brics University League. Lastly, the Brics Tvet Corporation, we commit to strengthen collaboration in technical vocational education and training amongst Brics member states through hosting of seminars, provide an overview of the Tvet education system, and foster closer collaboration. We commit to ensure that the Tvet programs and projects are coordinated by relevant Brics senior education officials and focal points assigned by their respective ministries of education. We encourage participation of Brics member states in the President's Forum and endorse the outcome of the second Brics Tvet President Forum organized in the Republic of South Africa in July 2023. The Federative Republic of Brazil, the Russian Federation, the Republic of India, the People's Republic of China extend their appreciation to the Republic of South Africa for hosting the 10th meeting of Brics education ministers. We welcome participation of the Republic of Mozambique and the Republic of Namibia as invited guests. The declaration has been adopted on the 13th of July 2023 in South Africa at Ekurhuleni Tvet College and will be submitted to the Brics Leaders Summit. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to take this opportunity once more to say thank you, siyabonga, to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DDG and the chairperson of the TCA. You really spoke like the chairperson. And we appreciate that. To give direction to this conference. And this is what we are going to be committing to. The principals must watch, South African principals, that is going to be in your contract. South Africa will not waste money and bring you here and not commit you to the outcomes of this particular conference. For those who are aspiring to be principals, please watch out. Colleagues, we have been successfully hosted here by Ekurhuleni West. There is somebody who's going to thank them. The president is going to do that. But for us to have been here since Monday, disorganizing and destabilizing their programs, we really need to thank them. We are aware of the fact that there are many people in the background whom we are unfortunately not going to be able to mention by name, who have worked very hard to see to it that this particular conference becomes a success. But we just want to acknowledge leadership of the process. I am going to request the principal of Ekurhuleni West, Peter Mudau. I'm not sure whether he's in the house. Is represented by? Oh, Dave, Mr. Situsha, you also in the house from the side of the department. We worked with you. You can also come to the stage. Who calling him Shield? Yeah, so Tata my too. And then, you know, Dave, I know personally that you had sleepless nights. Some of the people left this hall, for instance, on Tuesday with round tables. And when they arrived on Wednesday morning, they were what you call the seminar kind of an arrangement. And we acknowledge you as well in this process, but also the headaches that we would give you in terms of the engagements to see to it that this conference is a success. Today we are appreciating you for that as well. Can we give them a good round of applause? He is now representing the principal as well. He's not getting two gifts. He is just representing the principal, his own and that of the principal. Thank you very much, Mr. Muleile. We appreciate. Mr. Stusha, when we did not get budget, you ran the submission, literally ran the submission into all those nice offices at the head office to see to it that we are able to proceed. And we don't take light the commitment that you had as a team player in this process. So thank you very much for your assistance. The session that follows is for the Brics Tvet Institution Presidents Forum, and certainly not going to be taken by me. I am a lightweight, I'm the Secretary General, but not the President. I will request the President to ascend to the stage so that she then also chairs the session of the other presidents of the 4 other Brics members in concluding our conference. And after the President has spoken, I cannot speak. She has the final word. But let me once again say thank you very much for having been a good audience and a disciplined audience. It is highly appreciated. If you pay my check and you request me next time, I will certainly do the job again. Thank you very much, President.
Thank you, SG. Always a pleasure. I think SAPCO would consider giving you a bonus as well. It's on a lighter note, colleagues. The program director, the Secretary General of SAPCO, the DDG for Tvet colleges, the chief directors, the regional managers, the directors from our head office and regional offices, the principals of colleges, the national office bearers of SAPCO, the National Executive Committee, our guests, and the representatives of member states within Brics, and the officials of the Office of SAPCO, and our interpreters at the back, and all interested parties. I wanted to mention everyone. If I have left you out, just know when I say all protocol is observed, you are the most important person ever. This marks the end of the President's Forum seminar. We are really delighted indeed as the leadership of SAPCO, supported by our department, in a very special way. They took us by hand and made sure that we travel this route together with them and ensure that all protocols in terms of South Africa and other member states within Brics are complied with. And also guiding us in terms of approach to this conference. Let me appreciate the contribution of our DDG, who is always leading from the front and who is always willing to provide guidance and support, which is a rare thing with leaders. Leaders are very quick at giving instructions, but the support becomes a lacking aspect within their leadership. We appreciate you, sir. As I said to you yesterday when presenting you with a gift, your humility and you allowing us space within your circles and making us comfortable in your space, it makes life easier for some of us. Let me also appreciate the presence of our regional managers. You have been with us since the beginning of this conference, and for you to make time to be with us, it means a lot. It shows that we are not only principals with you at the different regions, but you have the interest of the sector at heart. I think they need a big round of applause, colleagues. I would also like to appreciate the presence of the chief directors and directors from the department who have been with us also throughout this conference, and you could see the level of interest in the discussions and the inputs given, and them taking notes for further interrogation and implementation in consultation with us as principals. I think they also need a round of applause. I would be failing in my duty if a DP, I don't request you to come over. I know you've been working the stage, but I would like you to come. Normally, colleagues, when women are leading, people expect sparks all over the show. Yep. They expect sparks all over the show and, you know, egg and J in Afrikaans. With this combination, we don't have. We talk. We talk our differences. We agree on a way forward. I would like to give my DP a gift. Yes. All the speakers that you saw going through the stage and all the nice proceedings that we witnessed throughout this conference, she coordinated with the CEO. I would like to have the CEO also up the stage. I know she's not this limelight person. Please come. These are the people who work behind the scenes. I was looking at whether the gifts are still there, lest I call people to the stage and there's nothing. CEO, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart as your president. People do not know what it takes to have SAPCO operational. She is the machinery behind the success of the organization. And these two ladies, they work very hard. And they worked hard with their team. CEO, I'm leaving you with the responsibility of thanking your team in your own way. But I also want to thank Jean, Matthews. I might not call all of them Precious. Give me the names. Yes.
Prudence.
Prudence. You know, it's the
Simon and Percy.
Simon and Percy and Ria. Those are the interns and staff members within the Office of SAPCO who designed the banners that you saw here. We did not get a service provider to design. The office staff designed the program you have, you know, the compilation thereof, the layout, everything about it. It was our office staff. They need the biggest round of applause, colleagues. Okay, let me not make my DP to stand for long. You can see. Just 2 minutes, colleagues. I don't know whether I'm giving away some other people's gifts, but I've already taken them. Thank you. It is really an honor to be serving people of this caliber. I also want to thank the national office bearers. My husband would say you like making people to stand, and I'm going to request them to stand up. Ms. Madalani knows. National office bearers, the TG, DSG, SG, DP. Where are you, colleagues? This is the big engine behind SAPCO. You can face the audience for them to know. These are my colleagues that I work with. Thank you. You may be seated, colleagues. We are the new leadership, still very new, elected in March, just 3 months away in office. And we are trying to make a difference. And I want to thank you, colleagues, for the support that I enjoy from you. And you sometimes may be feeling like I'm too much of a mother, but this is me. I would also like to thank the chairpersons of provinces, if they could stand. Chairpersons of different provinces, is it only 3, 4, 5? Mr. Mahlangu, you are already standing up. Some might have already left. Mr. Van Heerden, I'm going to request that you stand for on behalf of Eastern Cape. Colleagues, these are the people leading provinces. And the gender balance is still an issue, but we'll fix it one day. Thank you for all the support and you being our soundbox. Whenever we want to share issues, you are there readily available to critique and support the organization. I would like us to give them a round of applause. Thank you. You may be seated. Let me also make a special thank you to the principal of this college, who, when we approached him for support, he agreed with no hesitance, with his staff, the entire EWC team. We are really proud of you. You gave us your hall, your premises, your resources. You planned with us and you took time to be with us, irrespective of the late hours in the evenings when we had virtual meetings and in some cases physical meetings to make sure that this conference is a success. We want to thank you so much. Talking on behalf of all 50 Tvet colleges, we want to really applaud you. You are an outstanding team of people who have the interest of the sector at heart. Another round of applause for them. We want to thank our interpreters. Their availability in this conference made things easier for us. We would not be able to say, myself, I don't even know one word in Russia or whatever. I would be messing up people's languages, but you made things easier for us and made it possible for all member states to participate effectively. We thank you so much for that service. We also want to thank the sound people and the recording. There's an engine behind this proceedings. They are capturing the proceedings of the conference for us not to miss out on important information. I also want to thank them for that. We have the reflections to make as an organization, but I want to say to all speakers, you were outstanding. The inputs that you gave to this conference right from the word go were really, really amazing. And you made this conference to be the conference. And you made South Africa, you made Brics feel proud. You made our chairperson of Brics, TCA, very proud. We have what this conference could take because of you. We also want to make the following reflections in terms of the conference. My gadget is now, it's now acting up. SG, okay. The theme for the conference read as follows: skilling for growth, development, and poverty reduction through vocational education and training. There were some sectoral priorities that were listed, and there were some inputs given by member states on behalf of their ministries at the beginning of the conference. And as member states, there are inputs that we gave which might not have been fully captured in the declarations and maybe in my closing remarks. Be rest assured, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, that all of your inputs we value, and if we have missed out on anything, feel free to send them through so that the declarations as presented represent all of us. We don't want to leave anyone behind. Collectively, we have come up with very solid resolutions, which I'm not going to present on, as the DDG has done so as the chairperson of the TCA. But I just want to make mention of the following in terms of the different themes. We want to strive for the use of digital and technological solutions. We want to strengthen joint activities amongst Brics countries, improve and promote the development of digital infrastructure and training systems, promote digital-based international education and training, including Tvet staff and students exchange, digital campuses, and establish digital teaching and assessment platforms for expansion of the academic disciplines. Linkage with industry came out very sharply, so allowing innovation within the Tvet colleges offerings. For theme 2, which was about green skills, the 5 Brics member states presented their own, made their own input and recognized the importance of maintaining and promoting a greener climate, the security and stability of food systems, and commit to increasing the use of renewable energies in ecology within the Tvet systems offerings. The Tvet colleges would serve as the source multi-pronged approaches that they would use and reference models for affordable access to renewable energies, and look at offerings that can provide solutions towards water and pollution treatment practices and promoting a healthier society. All Brics member states in their presentations reaffirmed their commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 13, which aims to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact, given worldwide experiences of flash flooding, as the DDG had said, drought conditions, and more severe tropical storms due to rising temperatures on Earth's surface. Theme 3, which was about fostering entrepreneurship, the member states made their own presentations as well and recognized the importance of entrepreneurship and innovation initiatives to be inculcated into compulsory course offerings at colleges. And they jointly concluded in their presentations that the optimal use of entrepreneurship and innovation initiatives in both SMME and informal sectors of their respective economies can be used to eradicate poverty and reduce unemployment. We will jointly build a platform for exchanges and cooperation between vocational institutions and the corporate sector to serve as mentors and hosting incubators and incubatees and sponsorships for SMME development. For theme 4, how can purposeful partnerships for WBL amidst employer reluctance and challenges be forged? In all presentations, we witnessed the successes of the varied models used by colleges, as voiced by different member states, which focused on new paradigm models, the DST model, cluster principles, and the like. And there was also emphasis on partnerships that are beneficial for advancement of colleges in infrastructure development, skills and best practices sharing. The cultivation of talent energized with the participation of industry and non-governmental organizations must be structured into college academic timetables. That is one issue that was flagged. The construction of a platform that seamlessly allows for student and lecturer placement across all program offerings was also emphasized. This will be part of the policy reforms that can motivate and enhance employer participation. There were questions posed earlier on what can we do, especially in South Africa, to encourage employer participation. I think there's a policy matter which needs to be quite drastically be dealt with within this country. Yes, we know that in the Skills Development Act and all that, employer participation is highlighted. But until such time that we take a firm position in terms of how we encourage employers to be part of this process, to influence curriculum for recruitment of young people into their college programs, we would not get it right. Policy review and reforms are key. Cooperatively develop teaching materials and course resources that meet local industry needs within international perspective. I also want to conclude with some proactive approaches that were also flagged by different member states, especially on WBL. It is to understand employer reluctance. What is it that is causing that reluctance? It was clearly, shared by different countries as an obstacle. And also, we should also share on the benefits of WBL. What are those benefits? There were presentations that were quite interesting that were shared, which we will benefit from. And I kindly request the Secretariat of these proceedings to share those presentations with all participants for them when they go back home to refer and implement. I do not want to waste your time, colleagues, but communication with the key stakeholders, the colleges, business and industry, and also universities or institutions of higher learning is key for easy learner mobility and progression within the system. Networking and relationship building, it is also very key. As we said, a SAPCO will issue out its a communique to all institutions within South Africa for them to start, partnering with different institutions within the Brics countries. It would not only be with China, but we urge all countries to, indicate what each of their institutions offer, and so that we pair the institutions across the 5 member states for participation in lecturer and student exchange programs, and establishment of strong partnerships and linkages. Yes, I think I've covered most of the things, but let me also indicate that we need to have a plan of action flowing from this conference as the 5 countries. Those reflections that were done, the conference resolutions and declarations that were presented before us by the chairperson of the TCA, we would develop a plan of action flowing from there so that we have all the declarations actioned in a form of a plan with clear responsibilities and timeframes attached to it. In closing, let me thank the Minister for Higher Education, Science and Innovation, the Deputy Minister, the DG and his DDGs, and all participants within this conference for affording us an opportunity to host you and to learn from this exercise. Let me thank also the Almighty for having given us life to be here and to grant us an opportunity to gather in this place. I want to wish you traveling mercies and be safe on the roads back. For those that would be flying back home, safe landing. For those that would be walking, a safe journey back home. And for those that are staying behind tonight and flying or driving back home tomorrow, the same with you. Thank you, one and all. Thank you so much. SG, your duty is not done yet. I'm recalling you back to the stage to give us further announcements. Yes, yes. Okay, I've just been reminded I nearly made a terrible mistake. Before we stand up to sing the national anthem, we also have presidents from other countries to give a word. And I will start with Brazil, followed by Russia, India, China. Anybody from Brazil? Are they on the platform?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, please go ahead. Yes, and give your inputs.
Well, I'd like to thank you all, first of all, for the organization and to provide us with this opportunity to align our thoughts with other BRICS countries. Throughout these days, we've really learned that we've got lots of points in common, and mostly we've got to work together, and we've got to make a tremendous effort here in our country so that we can somehow bridge some gaps in terms of poverty and bridge these gaps through education, through vocational education. This is really something very clear for us. And so we can really think about the way hybrid education can hinder our educational process. And besides that, we are really thinking carefully about becoming greener and greener, because if we don't have a sustainable country, we won't have a sustainable world, and so forth. And again, as far as fostering entrepreneurship skills to develop youth employment, we need to develop youth employment, and we need to establish here in the country some rules that are even clearer concerning youth employment. And as for proposal partnership, again, we really got to establish partnership and more partnerships with the labor market so that we can really work purposefully and better. Thanks very much. Right, and thank you all, because as I said before, partnership is really a key word for this conference, and I believe it's a key word for us as human beings to go on working and to go on trying to provide our planet some better times. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Brazil. Let's take Russia.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends, for 3 days we have been part of this exciting journey, abundant in new impressions, new contexts, and new ideas. The seminar has discussed key issues of the Tvet development agenda. The mere fact of this meeting has a huge positive impact, as it has given us opportunities to come to know each other better and to enrich our vision of the development initiatives and cooperation for the Brics Tvet agenda. On behalf of the Russian Federation Ministry of Education, I would like to thank from my heart the organizers and the Brics Secretariat who have brilliantly coped with the organization of the seminar and have created during our work a creative and productive atmosphere of mutual learning. I would also like to express profound respect to the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology of South Africa for their support of this event. The theme of the seminar are skilling for growth, development, and poverty reduction through vocational education and training reflects key system goals for the Tvet development, and the thematic priority areas specify concrete development vectors. Hence, we are taking away from the seminar valuable ideas and considerations that will be shared with colleagues and used in our own work and activities. The content of the discussed sectoral priority areas has confirmed their apt and to-the-point selection for the seminar, and it also points a common understanding of Tvet goals and objectives in our countries, situated on 4 different continents and in different time zones, of the aspirations, hopes, and opportunities that open up thanks to the Brics organization. It has also revealed problems and challenges that our cooperation within Brics will help to address effectively. We will go on with consolidating cooperation and building a multilateral perspective and vision of Tvet that will be up to the challenges and realities of contemporary life on one hand, and will respect and honor the contexts and traditions of every one of the Brics countries. Success, health, and prosperity to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Russia. We'll now take India. India, over to you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon once again to everyone. Dear member country officials and all other representatives of this forum. For the past 2 days, we had wonderful sessions, and all the presenters have projected the relevant inputs which are of very much importance and of much useful to. At this juncture, I may not be in a position to repeat because all our previous presenters have already spoken, and even the key factors already we have taken up. Only one thing I would like to highlight here is that it is a proposal from our end. We can deliberate and think of it later. That is, we'd like to have one green skills alliance. Since all the countries are giving such an important for this particular priority sector, we'd like to propose that we may go for one green skills alliance, so that what India is thinking of having net zero emission by 2070 can be achieved, and all other BRIC nations also similarly they can also do. So this is our suggestion from our end, and let me thank for nominating me for this eminent forum by the government and making us to have all the best practices and other challenges faced by the member countries in this forum. Thanks a lot. Dhanyavad sabko. Jai Hind. Namaskar.
Thank you, India. We have taken note of the inputs. China. Can we have China?
Sure.
Okay, over to you.
Hi, distinguished guests. It's a great honor to speak.
I would like to congratulate the success of the second 2023 Brics Tvet Institution President Forum Seminar.
IT
就没有这次会议的精彩呈现。其次，我要感谢来自金砖国家职业教育领域的专家和学者。
I suggest that we
他们围绕着后疫情时代的职业教育教学、绿色技能开发、创业技能培养与促进青年就业、工作本位学习等议题，为我们呈现了一场精彩的学术盛宴。 同时，也为解决各国职业教育领域中发展的难题提供了参考和借鉴。3是期待。首先，我期待中国在职业教育领域的探索实践能够提供一些参考和帮助。19世纪中叶，中国为了自强发展，一批有识之士创建了福建传政学堂等实业学校。 标志着中国近代学校职业教育的正式诞生。从此以后，职业教育始终与国家命运和家庭幸福紧密联系，承担着经世利民、求是致用的历史重任。进入新时代，职业教育在经济社会发展中的地位和作用更加突出。中国职业学校70%以上的学生来自农村。 职教一人、就业一人、脱贫一家，成为阻断贫困代际传递见效最快的方式，在我国开展脱贫攻坚、全面建成小康社会过程中发挥了重要作用。其次，我期待中国与金砖国家在职业教育领域的深度合作。中国有句古话，叫做“尺有所短，寸有所长”。 物有所不足，志有所不。金砖各国在职业教育领域的探索实践各有千秋。金砖国家职业教育的蓬勃发展，离不开各国先进理念和特色经验的相互启发、相互砥砺。今后，我们需要凝聚更多共识，通过加强合作力度、创新合作模式，实现取长补短。 共同发展，海纳百川，相以为强。在经济全球化的大潮中，希望金砖国家能够更加紧密地团结在一起，为助力构建人类命运共同体做出贡献。谢谢大家。
Okay, thank you, China. We'll allow the interpreter to take us through. Interpretation. Members couldn't follow because they don't have the headsets with. Okay, go ahead. Okay. CO, are they proceeding or should we? Okay. Just a little patience there, colleagues. We are about to finish off. She can use the mic if hers is not working, a roving mic. Yes, you may use that
Hello.
one, ma'am.
Hi.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm going to do a translation on President Zhang Huibo's speech. Dear Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Professor Zhang Huibing, the President of Ningbo Polytechnic in China. It is my honor to speak at the close ceremony as a representative of the Chinese delegates. First, I would like to congratulate the successful holding of the second 2023 Brics Tvet Institution President Forum Seminar. Although I can't attend today's meeting in person, I can still feel the warm atmosphere in the venue. And the second is I would like to thank the organizer of South Africa for their hard work on this seminar. South African Public Colleges Organization and Ekurhuleni West Tvet College. Coordination and many other aspects of these conferences. Without your hard work, there will be no representation of these conferences. And I would like to thank experts and scholars from the BRICS countries in the field of vocational education. They presented us with a powerful academic feast focusing on vocational education teaching, green skills development, entrepreneurship skills and youth development promotions, and work-based learning in the post-pandemic. The third is looking forward to. I look forward to China's exploration and practice in the field of vocational education to provide some references and help. In the middle of the 19th century, in order to self-improvement and seek wealth in China, a group of ineffeminate people established industrial schools such as Fujian shipping schools, which marked the official birth of vocational education in modern Chinese schools. Since then, vocational education has always been closely related to the fate of the countries and has undertaken the historical responsibility of benefiting the people and seeking truth from facts. In the new era, the position and role of the vocational education in economic and social development has become more prominent. More than 70% of the students in vocational schools is coming from rural areas. One person for vocational education, one person for employment, and one family for poverty reduction has become the fastest way to block the intergenerational transmissions of poverty, and has played an important role in my country's poverty reduction. Secondly, I look forward to the in-depth cooperation between China and the BRICS countries in the field of vocational education. The exploration and practice of BRICS countries in the field of vocational education has their own advantage and disadvantage. This comes to the inseparable from the mutual inspiration and mutual encouragement of advanced concepts and unique experiences of various countries. In the future, we need to build more consensus and achievement level development by strengthening cooperation and renovating cooperation models. Lastly, I hope that the BRICS countries can unite more closely and make positive contributions to helping build a community with a shared future for mankind. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, China. Much appreciated. I will not repeat. Mine at this point in time is to officially close this second. Want to take time? The second BRICS Tvet Presidents Forum Seminar of 2023 officially closed. I want us to close it in a South African way, the ululation and we are not just going like, colleagues, come on. Okay, I thought I would hear re, but it's not coming up. Okay, let us all stand for the national anthem. And I hope those on the virtual platform are also standing up. We'll have the South African national anthem and the AU. IT. You may depart.
There is somebody who left their charger for their laptop. If you are the person, please speak to Matthews from the office. Matthews, can you raise your hand? Failing which, we are going to leave it with Mr. Mudau or Mr. Muleile, who is in the college, should there be somebody you know. Lunch is served just outside of the building. Please enjoy your lunch and bon voyage.